Fleet Commander Zor Tak watched from the bridge of the Galactic Dominion's flagship, Inevitable Conquest, as the small blue planet grew larger on the main view screen. Earth, as the natives called it, such a plain name for what would soon be the newest acquisition of the mighty Arvaxian Empire. Status report, he demanded, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence, a sign of impatience among his kind. All systems optimal, Commander, replied Lieutenant Dax. Conquest fleet in formation. Primitive human detection systems have noticed our approach. Your global communications networks are in disarray. Panic spreading as anticipated. Zor Tak's mouth parts twisted into what passed for a smile among the Arvaxians. Excellent. And our intelligence on their defensive capabilities. Strategic Officer Pel Ra stepped forward, her scaled skin reflecting the blue light of nearby displays. As expected, Commander. Mostly atmospheric craft. Limited orbital defenses. Nuclear capabilities, but nothing that can penetrate our shields. They are primitive. How boring, Zor Tak sighed dramatically. Must every species we encounter fold so easily? I was hoping for at least a minor challenge. The bridge crew chuckled obediently. No one wanted to disappoint the notoriously temperamental commander. Sir, Communications Officer Vex interrupted. We are receiving a transmission from the planet. Zor Tak straightened his imposing frame. How amusing. Put it through. The view screen shifted to show a human female with short auburn hair and piercing green eyes. She wore what appeared to be a formal military uniform adorned with several insignia that meant nothing to the Arvaxians. This is Admiral Amanda Taylor of the United Earth Defense Force, she stated calmly. You have entered Earth-controlled space without authorization. State your intentions immediately. Zor Tak couldn't help but laugh, a harsh, grating sound that echoed across the bridge. How precious. The little mammals think they control anything in this sector. He nodded to Vex, who opened the communication channel. I am Fleet Commander Zor Tak of the Arvaxian Empire, supreme power in this galaxy. Your planet has been selected for integration into our glorious empire. Prepare your leaders for surrender negotiations. Resistance would be unfortunate. The human's expression didn't change. We request a face-to-face meeting before any decisions are made. Our diplomatic team can rendezvous with your representatives at neutral coordinates. Zor Tak's secondary heart nearly stopped in surprise. Were these humans truly so naive? Did they not understand their situation? Your proposal is accepted, he replied after a moment. Not out of necessity, but curiosity. I find your species' delusions of importance entertaining. Coordinates are being transmitted now, Admiral Taylor replied, completely unfazed by his condescension. We will arrive unarmed as a show of good faith. We expect the same courtesy. The transmission ended. Are we really going to bother with this charade, Commander? Asked General Drez, the military strategist who had orchestrated dozens of planetary conquests. Of course, Zor Tak replied, his voice dripping with amusement. Let's see what these humans think they can possibly offer us. Besides, breaking their hope personally will be far more satisfying than simply bombarding their cities from orbit. General Drez grunted in acknowledgement. I will prepare a delegation. The usual approach? Yes. Overwhelming presence, minimal weapons, visibly at least. Let them think we are honoring their naive request while making our superiority abundantly clear. The meeting location was a small space station the humans had constructed in their planet's orbit. Primitive by Arvaxian standards, but functional. Zor Tak studied it through the viewport as their shuttle approached. Scans confirm minimal defenses, reported Security Officer Malk. 6 humans inside. No detectable weapons beyond personal sidearms. As if those could harm us, snorted General Drez, adjusting his ceremonial armor. The metallic plates caught the light from nearby Earth, creating an intimidating display of reflected blue and green hues. The shuttle docked with a mechanical clunk that made Zor Tak wince. Human technology was so inelegant. Remember, he addressed his delegation of 5 officers, these are primitives who don't yet understand their place in the galaxy. They will learn today. The airlock cycled open, and the Arvaxian delegation entered the station. The room beyond was circular, with a large round table in the center. 6 humans stood waiting, with Admiral Taylor at their center. Up close, the humans were even less impressive. Small, soft-looking creatures with only 2 eyes and bizarre fur on their heads. How had such beings even managed spaceflight? "Welcome aboard Unity Station," Admiral Taylor said. "Thank you for agreeing to this meeting." Zortak didn't bother with pleasantries. "Let's not waste time with your primitive customs. You know why we are here. Your world will join our empire. The only matter to discuss is how painful the transition will be for your species." A male human with dark skin and close-cropped gray hair stepped forward. "I'm Dr. Marcus Powell, Earth's chief xenobiologist. Before we discuss political matters, we'd like to understand more about your species. We have never encountered sentient life beyond Earth before. How convenient for you that we found you before someone worse did," General Drez interjected. "The galaxy is not a friendly place for weak species. Is that how you view us?" "As weak?" asked a third human, this one with facial features suggesting Asian ancestry according to their briefing materials. "Evidence suggests no other conclusion, Dr. Lee," Zortak replied, enjoying the surprise on the human's face when he used her name. "Our intelligence gathering is quite thorough. We know all about your civilization's limitations." "Then you will know we are a peaceful species," Admiral Taylor said, "but not a pushover. We'd prefer mutual cooperation rather than subjugation." General Drez laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Cooperation? Between master and servant, perhaps?" As the humans exchanged glances. Zortak noted with satisfaction that they seemed increasingly uncomfortable. "Perhaps we should discuss terms," suggested a female human with copper-colored skin. "I'm Representative Diaz, from Earth's unified government." "The terms are simple," Zortak declared, pacing slowly around the table. "Your world will provide resources and labor to the Empire. In exchange, you receive our protection and the privilege of being part of the most powerful civilization in the galaxy." "And if we refuse?" Admiral Taylor asked, her voice remarkably steady. Zortak stopped pacing and fixed all 4 eyes on her. "Refusal is not an option available to you." "There are always options," she replied. Something in her tone made Zortak pause. Was that confidence? How peculiar. "Your Commander," Security Officer Malk whispered urgently, "I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the station." Before Zortak could respond, Admiral Taylor spoke again. "We took the liberty of scanning your ship while you approached. Oppressive technology, but not incomprehensible to us." General Drez stepped forward aggressively. "You dare to spy on Imperial vessels?" "We dare much more than that, General," Admiral Taylor replied. "We have been observing your fleet since you entered our solar system 3 days ago." Zortak felt his scales tighten against his skin, the Arvaxian equivalent of a chill down the spine. 3 days? Their sensors had detected no human observation craft. "Impossible," he stated flatly. "Your stealth technology has blind spots," Dr. Powell explained. "Once we identified them, tracking your movements was relatively straightforward." This meeting was not proceeding as Zortak had anticipated. These humans should be begging for mercy, not speaking as equals. "Enough games," General Drez growled. "Humans will kneel before the Empire or be eradicated. Those are the only options." Admiral Taylor stepped forward, her eyes locked with Drez's 4. "Kneel first," she replied, her voice quiet but unmistakably challenging. The room fell silent. Even the other humans seemed shocked by her audacity. General Drez's face contorted with rage. "You insignificant creature. You dare to challenge the might of the Arvaxian Empire?" "We do," Admiral Taylor confirmed calmly. "And we came prepared." She tapped a small device on her wrist. Immediately, the view screen on the wall activated, showing a real-time feed of the Arvaxian fleet. Zortak watched in horror as small objects, previously invisible, materialized next to each of his capital ships. "What is this?" he demanded. "A demonstration time," Admiral Taylor replied. "Those are what we call nova mines, neutron oscillation vaporization apparatus, completely undetectable until activated. Each one has enough power to destroy your largest vessel." "You are bluffing," Zortak spat, though uncertainty crept into his voice. Admiral Taylor smiled. "Are we? Perhaps a demonstration is in order." She made another gesture, and one of the devices near a smaller Arvaxian ship glowed briefly before detonating. The explosion was contained but precise, severing the ship's propulsion section cleanly from its main hull. "That was at minimum power," Dr. Powell explained. "No casualties, but your vessel is now inoperable." Zortak's mind raced. How had they developed such technology? Their intelligence had been catastrophically wrong. "You realize this means war," General Drez snarled. "It doesn't have to," Representative Diaz interjected. "We are prepared to defend ourselves, but we'd prefer peaceful relations." "You call this peaceful?" Zortak gestured at the screen where his damaged ship drifted helplessly. "You have committed an act of war against the Empire. And you entered our system with conquest as your stated goal," Admiral Taylor countered. "We are simply demonstrating that we are not the easy target you believed us to be." Zortak's rage battled with his tactical mind. The humans had clearly concealed their true capabilities. If those devices were real and not an elaborate bluff, his entire fleet was at risk. "What do you want?" he finally asked, mandibles tight with suppressed fury. "A real negotiation," Admiral Taylor replied. "As equals. Not predator and prey." Zortak glanced at General Drez, whose posture radiated outrage and bloodlust. The general would advocate fighting to the death rather than compromising with lesser beings. But Zortak hadn't become fleet commander by being recklessly proud. "You have my attention," he conceded reluctantly. "Excellent," Admiral Taylor nodded. "First, your fleet will withdraw to the orbit of Jupiter. Your damaged vessel will be allowed to dock with our station for repairs." "You expect us to retreat based on one lucky shot?" General Drez interrupted. Admiral Taylor's expression hardened. "That wasn't luck, General. That was precision, and a fraction of our capability." She tapped her wrist device again, and the view screen changed to show the surface of Earth's moon. What Zortak had assumed were natural craters suddenly glowed blue, revealing hundreds of concealed weapons installations. "Our lunar defense grid has your entire fleet targeted," she explained. "We could have fired the moment you entered our system, but we prefer to resolve conflicts diplomatically when possible." Zortak's tactical mind raced through the implications. If the humans had managed to conceal all of this, what else might they be hiding? Commander Lieutenant Dax whispered urgently. "Our long-range scanners are detecting energy signatures approaching from the outer system. Hundreds of them." Zortak felt the situation slipping from his control. This was supposed to be a simple conquest, not whatever this was becoming. "These are the coordinates for your fleet's withdrawal," Dr. Powell said, sending data to the Arvaxians' devices. "Once you are positioned there, we can begin actual diplomatic discussions." "And if we refuse?" General Drez demanded. Admiral Taylor's expression remained neutral. "Then we will be forced to demonstrate the full capabilities of our defenses. I guarantee you wouldn't enjoy the experience." The implied threat hung in the air between them. Zortak had led dozens of conquest missions, and never once had he retreated. The shame would be enormous. But the alternative might be the loss of his entire fleet. "You have hidden your true nature from the galaxy," he accused. "Not hidden," Admiral Taylor corrected. "We simply hadn't announced ourselves until we were ready. Today wasn't supposed to be first contact, Commander. We have been observing the galaxy for decades." This revelation struck Zortak like a physical blow. Humans had been watching? Studying the interstellar powers? For decades. I will withdraw my fleet to your designated coordinates, he finally stated, the words like acid in his mouth. But know this, Admiral Taylor, the Empire does not forgive insults. This is not over. I would expect nothing less, she replied. But next time, perhaps approach us as potential allies rather than subjects. You might be surprised by what humanity can offer as friends. As the Arvaxian delegation prepared to depart, General Drez moved close to Zortak. You cannot seriously be considering retreat, he hissed quietly. For now, we have no choice, Zortak replied under his breath. But I want full scans of their defenses as we withdraw. Find their weaknesses. This is merely a tactical pause. Drez seemed mollified, though his posture remained rigid with suppressed rage. Before leaving, Zortak turned to Admiral Taylor one last time. You have surprised us today, human. That rarely happens. Get used to it, Commander, she replied with the hint of a smile. Surprising others is something of a human specialty. As the Arvaxian shuttle detached from the station, Zortak stared at the blue planet through the viewport. Such an unassuming world to have produced such a dangerous species. He had clearly underestimated these humans. It would not happen again. 3 standard cycles had passed since the humiliating retreat to Jupiter's orbit. Zortak paced the command deck of the inevitable conquest, his claws clicking against the polished floor with each agitated step. The giant gas planet loomed outside the viewports, its swirling storms mirroring the tumult in the fleet commander's mind. Status report on the repair shuttle, he demanded. Lieutenant Dax consulted his terminal. The humans continue to assist with repairs to the relentless Fang. Efficiency exceeds our engineers' expectations, estimated completion in 2 more cycles. And our scans of their defensive capabilities. Strategic Officer Pel-Ra stepped forward, visibly uncomfortable. Commander, we have a problem. Our most sophisticated scanning arrays cannot penetrate their stealth technology. We have identified only 38% of their lunar installations, and our attempts to scan Earth itself are being actively countered. Zortak slammed his fist against a nearby console, cracking its surface. Unacceptable. How can primitives who only achieved spaceflight a century ago possess technology that confounds the Empire? The bridge fell silent. No one dared state the obvious conclusion: they had catastrophically underestimated humanity. Sir, Communications Officer Vex interjected cautiously. We are receiving a transmission from Earth. Admiral Taylor requests your presence for continued negotiations on their planet. General Drez, who had been brooding silently by the tactical display, snorted derisively. A trap, obviously. They wish to capture you and decapitate our command structure. Perhaps, Zortak mused, all 4 eyes narrowing in thought. Or perhaps an opportunity to gather intelligence their orbital defenses have denied us. You cannot seriously be considering this, Drez protested. I am not merely considering it. I am going, Zortak declared. And you, General, will accompany me. Drez's scales flushed purple with outrage. Commander, I must formally object. This violates all security protocols. Your objection is noted and overruled, Zortak replied coldly. Prepare a shuttle. Minimal escort. We depart in 1 hour. As Drez stormed off the bridge, Lieutenant Dax approached Zortak cautiously. Commander, may I speak freely? Briefly. The General fears for your safety, but there is more. The Imperial Council has sent 3 messages demanding updates. They expect news of Earth's subjugation, not diplomatic negotiations. Zortak's secondary heart quickened. The Council's disappointment would mean more than mere demotion. Then we must ensure these negotiations yield results the Council will find satisfactory, one way or another. The descent to Earth through the blue atmosphere was turbulent, but the view was undeniably spectacular. Vast oceans, green continents, white clouds. Zortak had conquered many worlds, but even he had to admit this one possessed unusual beauty. Primitive but not without charm, he commented as their shuttle was escorted by human fighter craft toward a sprawling city on the eastern coast of the northern continent. "A gilded cage is still a cage," General Dres muttered, checking his concealed weapons for the 5th time. "Be silent," Zortak ordered. "Remember why we are here. Observe. Learn. Find weaknesses." The landing pad was atop a massive structure in the city center. Armed human soldiers formed a perimeter, their weapons conspicuously displayed. A calculated message, Zortak realized. Not threatening enough to be provocative, but clear in its intent. Admiral Taylor waited with a small delegation as the Arvaxian shuttle powered down. "Welcome to New York, Commander Zortak," she greeted as they disembarked. "I trust your journey was comfortable?" "Adequate," Zortak replied curtly, "though I question the wisdom of meeting on your homeworld. Do you not fear our presence might cause panic among your population?" Taylor smiled, a gesture Zortak was beginning to find irritatingly enigmatic. "Your arrival has been publicly announced. Our citizens are well prepared for extraterrestrial contact. But they know of our intentions as well?" General Dres asked sharply. "They know we are in negotiations with the Arvaxian Empire," Representative Diaz replied, stepping forward. "The details remain classified for now." Zortak noted how the humans had cleverly elevated their status in public communications. It's not potential conquests, but diplomatic equals in negotiations with the Empire. Clever psychological warfare. "This way, please," Admiral Taylor gestured toward an entrance. "The Council of Nations awaits." The human building was impressive by their standards, Zortak supposed. High ceilings, polished stone, large windows overlooking the city. They were led to a circular chamber where 24 humans sat at a curved table. Their attire suggested various cultural origins, a reminder of how fragmented Earth's governance remained despite their unified government. "The distinguished representatives of Earth's nations," Admiral Taylor announced. "And joining us virtually are the leaders of our off-world colonies." This revelation jolted Zortak. "Colonies? Your species has established presences beyond this system." "Of course," replied a silver-haired human male. "Mars, Venus, Titan, Europa, and 3 exoplanetary outposts. I'm President Garcia of the Mars Confederation, attending via quantum link." Zortak exchanged glances with General Dres. Their intelligence had indicated only minimal human presence on their red neighbor planet. Outposts on other worlds had not been detected at all. "Our intelligence suggests your species only recently achieved rudimentary space travel," Zortak stated, trying to regain his mental footing. A laugh rippled through the assembled humans. "A common misconception," Dr. Powell explained, entering the room with Dr. Lee. "One we have carefully cultivated." "Explain," Dres demanded. Admiral Taylor gestured to a circular device in the center of the room. It activated, projecting a 3-dimensional star map. Humanity achieved faster than light travel 73 years ago. We have been exploring discreetly since then. The map zoomed out, revealing dozens of highlighted star systems, human exploration routes. Zortak realized with growing alarm. "This is impossible," he stated flatly. "The Empire monitors all FTL signatures in this sector. We would have detected your ships." "Not if they don't use conventional drive signatures," Dr. Lee replied. "Our quantum fold technology creates no subspace disturbance. We move between spaces rather than through it." Zortak felt as though the gravity had increased tenfold. Such technology would render humanity virtually undetectable to standard Imperial monitoring. The strategic implications were enormous. "Why reveal this now?" he asked, fighting to keep his voice steady. "Why not simply destroy our fleet when we arrived?" "Because we are not conquerors," Admiral Taylor answered simply. "We have observed the various interstellar powers, including your empire. We have seen how you operate, how the Grelvan hierarchy operates, how the Tauric Dominion operates. All conquest, all subjugation." "It is the natural order," General Dres interjected. The strong rule the weak. Perhaps President Garcia's projected image responded, but humans have a long history of underdogs overturning the natural order. Admiral Taylor nodded to Dr. Powell, who activated another holographic display. This one showed historical human battles. Thermopylae, Agincourt, Yorktown. Throughout our history, smaller forces have defeated larger ones through innovation, determination, and strategic thinking. We chose to remain hidden, Representative Diaz continued, while we studied the galaxy and prepared our defenses. Your arrival forced our hand earlier than planned, but we were ready nonetheless. Zor-Tak's tactical mind processed this information rapidly. The implications were staggering. You claim to reject conquest, yet you speak of colonies, settlements on uninhabited worlds, Admiral Taylor clarified. We have a strict non-interference policy regarding developing species. General Drez laughed harshly. How noble. And what do you want from us? To leave you to your peaceful expansion? To pretend we never discovered your little secret? A new human entered the chamber, older than the others, with piercing blue eyes and an air of quiet authority. What we want, General, is an alliance. The room fell silent as the newcomer approached. Admiral Taylor stood straighter. Commander Zor-Tak, General Drez, this is Director Eliza Frost of the Terran Intelligence Directorate. Frost stood directly before Zor-Tak, remarkably unintimidated by his greater height and imposing presence. We have studied the Arvaxian Empire extensively. Your strength, your weaknesses, your enemies. We have no weaknesses, Drez snapped automatically. Your resource dependency on the Tholian sector will become critical within 15 years, Director Frost stated flatly. The Grelvan hierarchy knows this. They are positioning for a major offensive in that region. Their fleet movements over the past 3 years confirm our analysis. Zor-Tak fought to keep his mandibles from dropping in shock. This was highly classified Imperial intelligence. How could these humans possibly know? Your eastern frontier is already stretched thin, Frost continued relentlessly. The rebellions on Pax 9 and Doros Prime have tied up 3 battle groups. Meanwhile, the Tauric Dominion has increased antimatter production by 300% in the past year. They are preparing for something significant. Zor-Tak commanded, his voice a low growl. What is your point, human? Director Frost's expression remained impassive. The Empire faces existential threats on multiple fronts. Threats you may not survive without new allies. We are offering to be those allies. In exchange for what? Drez demanded suspiciously. Recognition of human sovereignty. Non-aggression pacts. Trade agreements. Cultural exchange. The standard diplomatic package, Admiral Taylor replied. Plus mutual defense provisions against common threats. Zor-Tak's mind raced through calculations and possibilities. If the human's intelligence was accurate, and every instinct told him it was, the strategic value of such an alliance could be immense, especially if their technology was as advanced as it appeared. The Imperial Council would never accept partnership with a species they intended to conquer, he stated, testing their reaction. The Imperial Council doesn't need to know everything immediately, Director Frost suggested. Report that Earth required more resources to subdue than anticipated. That you are establishing a foothold while assessing our defenses. Meanwhile, we begin unofficial cooperation against the Grelvans. Zor-Tak stared at the human female with newfound respect. Such political maneuvering would not be out of place in the Imperial Court itself. You have thought this through, he acknowledged. We have had decades to prepare for this moment, Admiral Taylor replied. We knew first contact was inevitable eventually. We simply ensured it would happen on our terms. General Drez stepped closer to Zor-Tak. Commander, you cannot seriously be considering this blasphemy. These creatures should be serving the Empire, not allying with it. Zor-Tak turned all 4 eyes on his subordinate. Your perspective is noted, General, and limited. You see only the glory of conquest, not the strategic landscape beyond. He turned back to the assembled humans. I require proof of your claims regarding the Grelvan hierarchy and Tauric dominion, and demonstrations of this quantum fold technology. Easily arranged, Director Frost nodded. We have observation posts near key Grelvan military installations. The data is yours to verify. A tense silence filled the chamber as Zor-Tak contemplated the situation. Everything he had been taught about the Empire's supremacy, about the natural order of dominant and subjugated species, screamed against what he was considering. Yet his tactical mind recognized the potential advantages. I propose a provisional agreement, he finally stated, limited cooperation against mutual threats, technology exchange in non-military sectors. If this proves fruitful, we can discuss broader alliance terms. Admiral Taylor extended her hand, a human gesture of agreement Zor-Tak had been briefed on. That's acceptable. Shall we begin with a joint operation to monitor Grelvan fleet movements in the Tholian sector? General Drez made a sound of disgust but remained silent as Zor-Tak grasped the human's small, five-fingered hand. The Council will demand explanations, Drez muttered as the humans began preparing data transfers. The Council will receive appropriate reports, Zor-Tak replied quietly. Reports that serve the Empire's interests. If this alliance proves valuable, they will accept it. If not, his mandibles clicked in a gesture of dismissal. And if these humans betray us? Drez pressed. Zor-Tak watched as Admiral Taylor conversed with her colleagues, her manner confident but not arrogant. Then they will learn why the Arvaxian Empire has endured for 10,000 years. But I suspect they already know. 6 months later, Zor-Tak stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed joint Arvaxian human space station orbiting Jupiter. The massive gas giant provided both strategic cover and resource extraction opportunities. The quantum fold sensors have detected Grelvan scout ships at the edge of the Tholian sector, Admiral Taylor reported, joining him at the viewport. Exactly as your intelligence predicted. And our response teams? Ready to deploy on your command, she confirmed. The stealth carriers are positioned at the designated coordinates. Zor-Tak nodded, satisfaction evident in his posture. The past months had vindicated his decision. Human technology, combined with Arvaxian military doctrine, had proven remarkably effective. The first joint operation had captured a Grelvan intelligence vessel without alerting their fleet. The information retrieved had been invaluable. The Imperial Council has officially recognized Earth as a protected autonomous region within the Empire's sphere, he informed her. Not quite the independent alliance you wanted, but a significant concession. Taylor smiled. Politics is the art of incremental progress, Commander. We will get there. Indeed. Zor-Tak turned all four eyes toward her. You never intended to destroy our fleet that first day, did you? Despite your capabilities. We prefer making friends to corpses, she replied simply, though we were fully prepared for the alternative if necessary. A philosophy the Empire could benefit from learning, Zor-Tak admitted, especially with the Grelvan threat looming. An alert sounded, and both turned to the tactical display. A cluster of red indicators had appeared at the border of the Tholian sector. It seems the Grelvans have decided to make their move earlier than anticipated, Taylor observed. Then we shall demonstrate the effectiveness of our new alliance, Zor-Tak replied, mandibles clicking with anticipation. Deploy the joint fleet. As orders were relayed and ships prepared for quantum-fold jumps, Zor-Tak reflected on the strange turn of events. He had come to Earth expecting another routine conquest. Instead, he had found something far more valuable, worthy allies. The Grelvans, expecting to face only the stretched resources of the Arvaxian Empire, had no idea what awaited them. They would soon learn, as Zor-Tak had, that underestimating humans was a grave mistake. You know, Admiral Taylor commented as they watched their ships move into position, when you first arrived, your general said humans would kneel. And you told him to kneel first, Zor-Tak recalled. A bold statement from a supposedly inferior species. Taylor's eyes gleamed with humor. Not bold, just confident. Humans don't kneel easily. but we make excellent partners. So it seems? Zortak agreed, his gaze fixed on the tactical display as the first human Arvaxian joint battle fleet jumped to lightspeed. So it seems,